Motrimis mama la capre, motrimis mama la capre.
Previously on
Let's get it on! Far over the misty mountain cold, to dungeons deep, full of copper.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
And welcome to an exciting new episode of Let's Get It On. And of course, we did it. Now the question is, what should we do with Petrodava itself? And even before King Tarbus reaches a formal decision, the Poturatense diehards go all exterminate on the population, and sadly the city will get razed. And look at the amount of monies we will make out of it. 200 monies! Okay. Actually, I never raised a city before, and our Imperium grows. That's lovely. I never raised a city. I'm actually curious what happens. Faction destroyed. Oh, how sad. And here we have all gathered in the burning ruins of Petrodava to discuss the future of our empire. This time we actually have 4 war targets. First are again the Duchy. Nothing really changed with them. Same thing could be said about the Pulii. But the third newest target are the Katiaroi. Our relationship with them is somewhat complicated. They seem to have done 180 and actually respect us for taking out and slaughtering the Bastarnos. But can we forgive all the past slights? And the fourth target are the Budini. Now the Budini are an interesting bunch in real life. So many people claim them as ancestors that it's kinda hilarious. It was written about them that they had red hair and blue eyes and worshipped Lada, the goddess of love and fertility. So basically horny redheads? In game, all we know about them is that they exist across the border of our newly conquered, liberated lands. First to speak is once again our wife Finuza. She will vote to go to war with the Katiaroi. It seems the 4 months she spent amongst them ended up in a slap to be remembered. Although there are murmurs in the crowd as she votes, since the latest word from the Katiaroi was that they are grateful for our help in dealing with the Bastarnos. The various tribes might not want to destabilize a potentially stable border and invade a distant land just for our queen's honor. Next to speak is the chieftain of the Buridavense, Dadatsi, the somewhat paranoid governor of Malwa. He of course goes on a lengthy tirade about the Roman danger and how we should fortify the Dacian lands to the west in preparation for the Romans. Local duchy be damned if they resist. Next to speak is the most respected chieftain among the lesser tribes, Chieftain Bikili. He seems to be weighing all the options carefully and only then casts his vote. He votes to first establish a hegemony among all Dacians, and absolving the duchy seems like the logical first step. Next to speak is the cheerful Poturatense chieftain Diordanos. Still covered in Bastarnos blood, he gives another one of his charismatic speeches. A very jingoistic one about how the next target should definitely be either the Katiaroi or the Budini. Speaking of both interchangeably, not barely realizing he is speaking about 2 different peoples and nations. Yet his point is clear. If it's different, kill it. And last to speak, a new addition to the voting council will be our very own Pope, Danzibalos. He votes for an attempt to be made to take control of the holy mountain of Kogainon. It seems like this will be a hard decision for calm King Tarbus. He is torn between invading foreign lands to defend the honor of his wife or following Bikili's plans for a Dacian hegemony. At long last, he makes a decision. The builder in him really wants to make Dacia great again under his rule. If his wife needs to swallow her pride, for now, so be it. And so he spoke, and so he spoke. The Godfather has spoken, and the Getae will now start preparing for war against the Duchy. All hail the Godfather. So let's see what the grand prize actually was. If you look at the province modifiers, it's more or less just like Malva, only a bit different, and not necessarily for the best. They produce less food but have more growth, and it's still shitty for anything. Basically, no tax and no trade, just farming. And we are so poor that we can't even afford to repair the barbarian hamlet. We need to save up for quite a couple of turns to afford the 1940 monies that we need for that. So we won't even talk about how expensive it is to build anything until we actually have the funds. I guess the first thing would be to move the king outside of the town, so he won't stress the new 2,700 residents. And well, since we need so much money, let's actually increase the tax by a bit. So we need some money. And since the buildings are so expensive, I think we should start moving our Pope. And I guess after a hard and long conversation, we managed to convince Governor Dada to come and help in Petrodava with the building, since he's all about getting prepared to face the Romans. We did manage to convince him that if we invest in our rear, it will help us in the long run. And I guess we should go and spy on the duchy. So let's go with our spy the long way and also get a glimpse about what's going on in Sarmis Jetuza, because there is some activity. And there was also a lot of activity in Pelendava. Actually, the war armies here, I don't know where they went and what did they do. Interesting. Anyway, we need the eyes on the ground. I guess the last thing we should do in this action-packed turn is actually to cancel our trade relations with the duchy, because if we don't, we will lose reputation with the rest of the factions. So we will cancel it now, and we basically have 7 turns to get ready to actually attack them. And that's the end of the eventful month of July. Welcome to the wonderful month of August, and apparently our decision from that I already forgot that we did last turn, that we accepted the horde, at least we didn't want to engage them in battle, they settled all peacefully. All they do is more or less fuck up our land. A horde has settled on your lands, they indulge in thievery and damage the crops. Wonderful. But hopefully they will be allies against the Romans, because that was the logic behind Dada accepting them into Malva. So let's see. Yes, here it is, the lovely modifier. And actually, another news, the Urpana the witch found a dog. I guess very evil dog. And all of these have inspired our population. I think yeah, this is the most inspired that they can get. So all is well now that the Bastarnos are dead. So I guess we should start moving the troops. First we will activate the witch, the great witch of Malva, the Urpana, which she has much to teach us. And Dada will continue his pilgrimage to his new patronage, and our Pope will do the same. And with the king, I guess we will start going back towards Malva and consolidate our forces there. And before we end this action-packed turn, I must clarify something. Apparently I was wrong on how raising a city works. We actually just had to wait one turn until the hamlet got repaired, and we didn't have to pay anything. So we just need to save 4,600 to start and build something here. And I guess we will go thematically with building a copper mine. I'm not necessarily sure this is the best building to build here, but you know, I sang a song about it and all that. And welcome to September, and we had two interesting bits of news. First, our society became a traditionalist again for at least 22 more turns, so that's 2 years, and this is more or less wonderful. Now, as some of you might see, apparently since I never raised cities, I never knew about the slums mechanic of this game. Apparently if you don't build a building in an open slot that you have, you get a slum. And what a wonderful building a slum is. -2 food, -4 public order, +2 squalor, +2 banditry, and a lot of increase in the third and the foreign population, which kind of helps, I guess. Anyway, looks like the newly liberated hamlet of Petrodava is quite a shitty place to live in. The mines are still closed, and everybody lives in giant slums. So what an interesting turn of events. Apparently we need at least 5,500 to even start addressing the idea of clearing up the slums. So we are really poor. I guess we should move the people. Let's move Dada, I keep forgetting his name, into the city. He is the new governor. You will stop patrolling and actually try and cross this annoying little river. Same about the Pope. The spy, stick to the roads, and we see lots of armies. The raiders and the unbreakable shields. Will they raid? Will they break? Welcome to October, and a shadow in the east, Kath. Concerning news from the steppes, once divided and unruly, the Parthian tribes have united under the same banner. Aware of their unified strength, they gather en masse their dreaded cavalries. Now they turn their attention to the rich neighboring cities. Luckily for us, we are a city, but the rich part does not apply. So I guess they will go and look for some other rich neighboring cities. And a war declared. The Apulii declared war on the Scordicii. And they actually moved some armies from here. So interesting. They might have come to the aid of the duchy, despite already being at war with the Eravishti. Interesting move by the Apulii. I guess we should start moving people. Wow, you still can't cross the stupid river. Man, you are old. You are old. Let's try and cross with the army. And spy with the spy. In an awkward attempt to get out of this awkward situation of being poor, we will even be willing to try and trade with the Getae. And they accepted. This is wonderful news. How much money will this give us? 55 gold. Sadly enough, this is quite a sum for us, and it will help us a lot. Welcome to November, and November brings news of Carthage. They are not doing so good, and we don't really care. We got some voting offerings. This is a really nice druidish event, and we get some public order and morale for all units. either don't help us. So this is a good event, but wasted on us. We finished the research, so we'll have to deal with that. And a faction was destroyed. The Tribalii got owned, and we can't even see by who. So shame. They were nice. And what else happened? The Getae are at war with with the main Scythian faction. It's bad news for us since we are training with them. These were all the events. Now let's deal with the technology. And I guess what will make sense the most for us is to research construction and hopefully save a lot of monies in the future. So we will start with earthworks. And let's do the movement. Then Zibalos, the Pope, can finally cross the stupid river. And I guess he will actually stay here in his little hut here. What is that? Because he will probably just move between these two provinces, applying his bonuses. The same with the... No, we can still... and only next turn. Oh man, movement is gonna be an issue. And let's see with our spy if we actually see something interesting in Perendava. Not yet, but we will steal some food, because that's the type of neighbor we are. And welcome to the server of what the heck is this? Armies at our borders. Big boy armies that somehow the duchy can afford. This is how we are supposed to celebrate the new year, which actually happens in December for some reason. Oh, weird hiccup of the mod, I guess. This is officially the new year of 277. Happy New Year! But it's December, and we have a giant armies on the border. And look at this. This army. First of all, look at this. The fury of Gebelasis, which is actually the wrong way to say Zalmoxis. Another way, another reason why we should take care of them. And a big army, big army. And this army has 3 units in it, 2 of which we don't see, which is alarming, because it might be some expensive and powerful mercenaries. So yeah, scary shit. So let's spy more. Don't even say. It's really odd. Can you steal? Go steal. No, you can steal. It's very odd because the duchy are not at war with us. In fact, they are at war with the Scudicii and slaves. Slaves. I think these are the generic rebels. Anyway, there should be slaves somewhere. And as you can see, the Scudicii are on the other side. They even have a nice road that leads to them, but no, they brought the army here towards us. So I think calm King Tarbus will have a very explosive reaction to this. What kind of a neighbor does that? This is so offensive, in fact, and he is so turbulent about it. Like this is a reason to declare war. You are coming to our borders with armies, clearly with hostile intent, thinking we won't even do anything, if we even react. No, this is war. You will war with us. And hopefully this will bait them to come, and we will fight their army in utilizing the newly built garrison of the hamlet? I don't know, I was looking at Totodava. Of the barbarian village. We finally built a village, and we have access to these lovely units and various stuff. But we are no longer the great hamlet of Malva, we are the great village of Malva. And speaking of those units, we will move. and actually start recruiting, because we only have 13 units and they have 23 in oh, spooky. So let's recruit 2 of these because we can. Now this unit is an all-rounder. I think it's the best cost-effective unit you can get. They are only upkeep of 80, which is a lot more than these guys with upkeep of 59, but these guys can't fight. Melee attack of 6 and base morale of 36, and they can't even really hold the line with a melee defense of 12. So these are quite unreliable, but these guys are a bit more reliable. They have 7-8 melee attack and defense, and base morale 39. These are not the greatest, but oh, they also have campaign stealth, so maybe this guy has I don't think they can recruit these. Anyway, these are they also have 300 models, because I don't really compare them to the levies, to these guys. I compare them to the warrior class X-Men. These are 7-10 with melee attack of 13 and morale of 39. So if you do this comparison, it's more you know, the difference is like 20 something, 25 in unit upkeep, and they're not warriors. They are free men, and they have 300 models, and the X-Men only have 200. So sometimes the Sika even outperform the X-Men just by sheer numbers. So I think that's the end of this term. On international news, I just found out, I just noticed actually when I was looking at the Duchy and why they are so close to our borders, that we encountered the Dardanoi. Now the Dardanoi live where the Tribalii used to live, and they are allied with the Odrysians, so they might just be a puppet client state of the Odrysians, which is horrible to think about. They are Illyrians, so the Duchy Odrysians came and killed the local Dacians in order to replace them with more agreeable Illyrians. This is the worst thing anyone can do that I can think of. Why would you do that, Odrysians? This might mean war when we actually meet them, if we ever meet them. Because this is unforgivable, this kind of genocide towards the Dacians. Towards other people, you know, that it's incorrigible, but towards Dacians. Welcome to the horrible month of January of 277. Good news and bad news. The Duchy actually got baited. They are coming towards us, which would be wonderful news if not for their need to eat. They are eating our food, which is disturbing. We have a lack of food in our province. It gives a wonderful little modifier of food shortages. It messes with growth, replenishment, and public order. Public order we don't really have any problem with, but yeah, with replenishment we might have to deal with that. Anyway, the solution is one and only to kill the other Dacians, who are horrible people, just coming to us just because we don't want to trade with them. They are coming with us with swords and axes and sikas. How aggressive. You know, we probably have some kind of a traitor in our midst that want them to our own plans to deal with their existence. So food for thought. And I think we might do the unthinkable in our current poor situation and actually hire some mercenaries. Because we heard a lovely story about a dude called Kostico, that he leads a wonderful band of Mythioporoidakis hippith mercenary Dacian cavalry, which is actually quite a wonderful unit. It's more or less, well, it's a bit less, I think quite a bit less than our Kingsguard units, but considering they have an armor value of 38, this is just disgustingly wonderful. They are a really good fighting unit, the only proper cavalry that we can afford. The main problem is the upkick 354, which is more than half of our. I don't even want to do the math. It's a huge chunk of our GDP. So anyway, we will hire Monsignor Costico to be hopefully a huge game changer. Anything else we could do? Yes. Steal the Dacians, the Duchy food. Does it help? Yes. Ah, no more starving for us. Probably starving for you. and oh my God, look at these numbers. 170. No, we will again ruin our population. Oops. Ruin our people's trust and everything, and switch to a horrible war economy. Because the enemies are at the gates and we need to afford to pay the mercenaries, at least this turn. How doesn't anyway, growth is affected, and anyway it's winter. So we will just do the unthinkable and just tax aggressively all of our people in the winter and be more lax during the summertime, because it only really affects the foreigners, and the foreigners can, as the Potolantenses say, go beep themselves. How much does this affect Petrodava's growth? Basically halts it, at least in the things that really count, the elite. So but no, we really need the money. Actually, let's lower it a bit. We are not monsters. Let's see if we keep it at this. The public order doesn't really. Yeah, these are more acceptable growth. Because we really need a chunkable population here, since the Getae might lose the war. By the way, during the end turn I saw some huge movement. A huge Getae army went here, and hopefully not to die. And it worked. Our master baiter plan worked. They did come for our city, and they will have to face both our main army and the garrison led by Decinais. Just look at this horrible situation where a Dacian king by the name of Theomarchos came up to our own capital, leading an army mostly made of Getae, and yes, mostly made of Getae. When I look at this, they also have some Moesians and some just normal Dacians. What a horrible situation to be. Not only that, he's leading an army named the Fury of Gebel whatever. It's just the wrong way to pronounce Zalmoxis, our one and true god of all the Dacians. So he is attacking us with our own men and heresy. This man, Thymarchos, needs to be skinned alive for this kind of behavior. So hopefully in the next episode we will skin someone.